And we'll start our Tuesday compassionate flow as we often do with Sufi grind. I guess as we always do since we've been Zooming. And as always, you can drop into your opening meditation any way that works for you. If you're joining me for Sufi grind, sit any way you can so your spine is comfortably tall. Take a huge breath in, lift your ribs off your hips, lengthen through the back of the neck, up the crown. Exhale, lean forward a touch, and then let the spine continue to draw small circles. At first, keeping the spine pretty straight. So you can feel the movement down at the base of the spine, drawing circles on the ground. And as the little circle smooths out, it might start to spiral into bigger circles. Carving out space in your pelvis to bring your breath into. The movement has probably gotten its own momentum. So you bring more and more focus to the breath. And that may mean the circles organically grow, or the movement may stay very subtle and small as you focus on breathing. Those of you who are getting slower, more still, can choose to change the position altogether if you want to lie down on belly or back, or take a child's pose. And watch the internal movement of breath. Those who are growing the movement might feel like the spine doesn't want to stay so straight, then let the rib cage start to circle out into more of a formal Sufi grind, a grind action. Or maybe the movement becomes more freeform. You wring out your shoulders, circle your neck, do mindful stretches, twists and folds. If you're doing free form movements or if you're still, carry on. But whether your body's moving less or more, continue to bring your attention back to your breath. It's that big, luscious breath that creates the vibrancy of the movement or of the internal space, even of that thought space. But it's also the concentration on the breath, the centering of the breath that creates the discipline, the channeling of the energy you're pulling up. We'll go for about 6, 8 more breaths. If your movement's been pretty big or rapid, gradually wind your way back to a centered stillness. If you're in a position other than seated, well, you can stay there if that's a place you can do your Brahmari, breathing in the buzz-like breath. We'll take 3 rounds of Brahmari today, all for the lower regions, from the navel center down to the ground. This time, as we're rapidly approaching winter solstice, the darkest days of the year, I think is a great time for release work, for digging out the dark closets, which I usually think of in this lower pelvic, low belly region. So if you're working with any physical issues in this area, maybe you heat your hands up, rub them, get them warm and tingly, and then rest your hands on those areas. Or you can simply bring the hands into prayer. Inhale, and when you exhale, have a deep buzz, humming with your lips closed. If you'd like to do Om, you're welcome to do that, but linger on the buzz, the part of the Om. Inhale. Two more times. If you're not sitting, keep your breath steady as you come up to sitting. If you are sitting, straighten your legs out. And we'll come into seated hip opener, soles of the feet together. If you happen to be in a chair, you can absolutely just cross one leg, foot over the other for seated hip opener. Right ankle, left thigh. Pick up your right thigh and start to massage it out from the hip joint. Give it a little space, a little gooiness. And then set your right thigh down. Place your right palm on your right inner thigh, left hand directly out to the side. Inhale, traction your thigh bone out from your hip. Exhale, lean to the left. Your ribs might arc to the left. Your head might rest on left shoulder. So upper body can relax. Activate the feet, press feet, plug tailbone, pubic bone down. Breathe into right hip. Exhale, navel to spine. Either stay exactly where you are, feeling the breath start to untangle, or give life to the right hip socket. Or on exhale, turn your chest down to left thigh. Noticing what a little torque and twist feels like. Keep your neck relaxed. Other side, you can also do this in cross-legged seat if Baddha Konasana is too intense. Pick up your left thigh. Kind of work a little space into the hip joint itself. Then set your left thigh down. Place your palm on your inner thigh. Right hand out to the side. Inhale, arc your body away from left hip. Exhale, traction left thigh from hip. Feel for the 4 points of the pelvis grounding the pubic bone, the tailbone, and the 2 sitting bones. Inhale, lift your low belly up from that. Optional, on exhale, turn chest to right thigh. That might not be right for your spine. If you felt more of an unwinding in the left hip where you were before, rewind. All right, keep your neck relaxed as you come up. Once again, straighten your legs out. Bend your right knee, foot on the floor, close to sitting bone. Flex your left toes up to the sky. Both sitting bones grounded. Actually, here's something. For a lot of our low backs, twisting pulls on the low back, cheat your left leg forward a little bit. Slide the left leg hip forward to draw hip forward, and then bring left hand or elbow to thigh. So it's a little more of a turn than a twist. You can feel the action of the right sitting bone driving down, hug the right thigh in without having to torque or crank your spine. Some of you like to look over right shoulder, that's fine. But only if that feels like you're still lengthening up through the whole spine. With each breath, the spiral gets taller, more expanded. Otherwise, keep your chin centered over your chest and just breathe into the spaces between your bones. Exhale, release. Listen, straighten right leg out. Draw left knee open. If your knee's high, put something underneath your thigh. Turn your belly towards your right thigh. Gentle bow over the right leg. Some of you simply releasing the neck. There's plenty of stretch in this point of practice. Plenty of places to send your breath to in the back of the leg, hip, and spine. Even those of you who are pretty far forward in your fold, just check for any sense of striving. I'm trying to get into an external shape. This is still more of a breath exploration, as most of our class will be. The different shapes will bring up different sensations and even thoughts and emotions that you get to explore with breath. And center your attention on your breath so you can watch without judgment. Without striving or fear. Or at least you have the space to notice when striving and fear come up, because they will. Reach back through your tailbone, pull belly to spine, and use your arms to pull your spine up so your neck can follow. Pick your left knee up. Most of us feel into this. Scoot your right leg forward, and then right hand or elbow to left knee. Take a breath. Exhale, release the twist. Straighten your left leg out. Draw right knee open. Right knee back just enough that your hips can still stay square towards left leg as you bow. Again, maybe start by simply letting the head start to relax. And if the rest of the body wants to come forward, then I do suggest turning on down around your tailbone and low belly. So there's a sense of rooting down through all points of the pelvis. Your spine has a direction, lengthening from that root. Come back to your breath. Reach back through your tailbone. Hug your low abdominals in. And the rest of the spine follows up. Come on down to your back. Nikki, I might do the laughing abdominals again. Was that too silly yesterday? Or did that work? Okay. All right, we'll try this again. I feel silly teaching this, especially alone in my living room, but it's fun. Come onto your back, get comfortable for a moment. Rock out, do your happy babies, or take a little shavasana. Get breath into the parts of your body that are in contact with earth. And yes, my friends who took at Bell Arts, you may have done this with me in the past. We tend to do this around this time of year. We'll start with feet on the floor. Active feet. Press the feet down, lift and spread your toes. Head and neck will stay relaxed for the first part of the series. Rest your elbows to the ground beside you. Your hands can be up. I want you to visualize there's a giant rope, like one of those ropes you had to climb in gym. That is what we're going to do, dangling right above you. Take a breath down into low back. Press the low back flat. On exhale, pull navel to spine and start to climb your arms up the rope, pulling your belly in as your arms reach up. And when it's time to breathe, inhale, relax your arms down. Press low back into mat and start again. Exhale, climb the rope, draw navel to spine. And keep going like that. For some of you, that is plenty of waking for the abdominals right there. Just using the breath to inflate and then engage really all the abdominals. Transverse is squeezing in, rectus is pulling down, obliques are pulling down, if you're tracking. Or maybe add the head and neck. Inhale, press the low back flat. Exhale, pull belly in, start to climb your rope and curl your head and shoulders up. I find it's helpful to keep looking at the rope. Some of you might want to tuck your chin in. Exhale, navel to spine. That's very important. Navel down, low back down as you climb. If that still feels fine, maybe you pick the feet off the floor, knees over hips. And as you climb your rope, maybe you get up higher and higher. It's okay if you need to do a little rock with the low body, as long as you're not thrashing. And then adding on one more piece, you can add to any level of this, even if you're keeping your head down. But those of you climbing the rope might really notice the difference. Take a breath in, press low back down. And on your next exhale, start laughing and climbing the rope. like that. Ah. Maybe two more. Ah. And when you are complete, you can continue to giggle as you stretch out on your mat or hug knees to chest. Hopefully feeling the warmth and the effectiveness of laughing for abdominal connection. Both for the strength of your abs, also great for digestion. Also good to know this time of year. So if you can't get on your mat every day, maybe at least you can get to laugh. I know we're not around people much. It's weirder to laugh by ourselves, but that was good that we got to practice that. Nana. Stretch out on your mat. Oh, first let's do this one. Arms down alongside body. If your mat is very sticky, you might want to lie a blanket on your mat. Feel for the hips being heavy grounded, the ribs being heavy grounded, balance left and right. Take a breath. Exhale, pinch off the right side waist to pull your spine down to the right like a candy cane. And then when you hit the edge of that movement, pause, breathe, feel for left hip still being down, left rib still down. Exhale, again, engage the muscles along the waist to pull your spine down, using those muscles as much as you can, as little help from the shoulders, hands as possible. So that's why if you're on a slippery surface, it's a little easier to connect to those waist muscles. Take 3 more breaths. Maybe you move a little bit more, maybe you're on your edge, but feel for engaging the muscles on right side body, the obliques and the ones alongside your spine. Make sure left leg, hip, and ribs are still heavy. Inhale. Exhale, spring back to center. Other side, inhale. Right and left hip heavy, right and left ribs heavy. Exhale, pinch off left side of waist. And let it arc your body to the left like a candy cane. And take 5 breaths, maybe squishing a little bit more with each exhale. If you're at your squished edge, you're just sending breath and feeling the muscles on the side, left low side of spine. Left low spine. Activating. Right hip stays down, right ribs down. 1 more breath. Exhale, release. Hug your knees into chest. Any expression of spinal twist, drop your knees to the left first. I do recommend scooching your hips out to the right. So when you bring knees to the left, your butt's a little bit behind you. That'll take the twist out of low back. We won't be here long, but take the time if you want to prop your knees up on something, anything, or put a cushion between your knees and ankles, a bolster or a block. Come back to center, reset your hips, and move them all the way over to the left edge of your mat. Drop your knees to the right, even bowing your chest down to the right for some spines will help you find neutral. If the left arm opens, pulls way too much on shoulder or mid-spine, then just rest your left hand on your side body. or raise the ground underneath your knees. All right, now banana. Come back onto your back, recenter your hips, stretch out into a shavasana. And if it's right to bring your arms up overhead, breathe the low back ribs down into your mat. Walk your feet over to the left, little baby steps until they're heading towards corner of mat. Optional, hook left ankle over right. Sometimes hooking the ankles can be irritating to the hip low back, then don't hook. Optional, if your arms are up, catch your right wrist with your left hand and traction your arm bones up. Keep the right shoulder, right side ribs heavy. If you'd like to feel for more traction down in right hip, cross right ankle over left. And release your wrist. Baby step your feet down to the right corner of the mat. Option to hook your right ankle over the left, but no hook is required. Option to take your left wrist and draw your arm bones out from the shoulder, but relax the shoulder completely. Send breath into your lengthening left side body, the whole side of your trunk, your hips, your thigh. And if you want to feel more in the low, left over right, we'll usually turn that on. Come back to center. We'll come to all fours for rainbow. Though if you know that being on hands and knees is not good for you, do another round of banana. Each side, 5 to 8 breaths. This rainbow is essentially banana, but balancing on your hand and knee. Tabletop. Left hand directly under chest. If you have wrist or shoulder issues, a block, I think, is a great way to get some of the pressure off your hand. Make sure block is under chest, not right under face, but actually under the chest. So you're not looking right down at it. Fingers hang off the block. Line your left knee up right behind left wrist underneath your pelvis. Right leg back, spin your heel down. Right hand to hip. Feel for it lifting out of left shoulder, left hip as you spiral open. For some bodies, bringing the left foot behind you helps you balance and pivot open. It's not right for everyone's hips. Extension, bring your hand to your heart. Take a breath. Lift your heart up into your hand as you get lighter on the left hand shoulder. Exhale, turn your chest up to the sky with your hand. And then reach your right palm past your face. You're extending right arm away from your right heel. Maybe you turn the right toes towards you, press into the right outer heel to feel for the hip more. Tuck your tail. Exhale, hand down, knee down. Other side. Right hand directly under chest. I know sometimes it feels better to have the hand forward, but eventually that angle with the shoulder not over hand will put some wear and tear on shoulder. These are general anatomic cues. If you're already working with injury, do what does not irritate your injury. Right knee under hip in line with the hand, left foot back, left hand to hip. And then use the breath and even press both feet, legs down into the mat. Right foot can be behind you to help you balance. So there's not as much weight on the hand. Option, left hand to heart. Breathe your heart up into your hand. Exhale, guide your heart open. Tuck your tail down. And then maybe left arm extends over ear. Reaching through pinky finger, pressing through outer heel will probably give you the maximum traction through left side body. Maximum is not always best for everyone. Hand down, knee down. Come down onto your elbows, clasp your hands, and wag your tail side to side. If your knees are okay with being on the ground, then maybe you pick your feet up and wag your whole tail. Whether you let your belly hang out or you tuck your tail, pull your belly in, will affect different parts of the spine. Do what creates space, decompresses for you. All right, let's come into lunge, right foot forward. Back knee down if you have enough padding under your knee. Hands to either side. Actually, we'll do a low lunge first with a PNF. So maybe use your hands on blocks or hands on the ground if they reach. Make fists if they don't quite reach. Hips heavy. Let them sink towards right heel. Now spread all 10 toes. Lift and spread the right toes. Fan open the back toes. And start pressing both feet into the mat. Tuck your tail. Like you're pushing yourself up. Those muscles around your hips and legs turn on that much so to they warm up. Take a breath. And then exhale, stop pressing, sink into your hip. Now, how much you turn on, how much you turn off depends on what you feel. Some of you shouldn't sink into your joints. Some of you shouldn't push as hard. Inhale, like 20% of your strength. Push your feet into the ground, tuck your tail, pull your belly in. Gritting the teeth does not help here. Relax your jaw and your eyes. Exhale, release, sink it down. One more like that. Inhale, press, 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 press. Keep breathing as you keep that pressure. Again, just enough strength that you can maintain it. There might be a little quiver, but not to the point you're cursing and shaking. Well, yeah, I'll let you decide that. You can decide that for yourself. Sometimes we need to get to that point so we can exhale, let it go. Half splits variation. Tuck your back toes, shift your hips so they line up over back heel, or maybe you start to sit down on the left heel. In between is fine as long as your knee's okay with it. Back knee off the mat is also fine, pyramid shapes. Bend the right knee. Turn your right toes out to the right a little bit. Walk your left hand off your mat. So you're leaning away from the left. If wrist is bothering you, maybe prop your elbow up on your block. Right hand to inner thigh, traction your thigh bone out. Sink your hips down. Some of you will roll to the outside of your foot as long as your knee and all your joints are okay with that. That can be fine. Getting kind of in the tighter parts of the butt. If rolling's not okay, then you bend your knee towards your toes, unless knee tells you to stop. Exhale, lower down onto your belly. Quarter boat, fold your hands, rest your head on your hands. Actually, let's do half boat. Arms down alongside the body. Take a breath into the back bottom ribs. Exhale, curl pubic bone to mat. Leave your hands and feet on the mat. Inhale, lift your shoulders up. Exhale, soften down. Take a breath here. Head is on the mat. I have a microphone in the way. If you're looking at me, you can rest your head. Exhale, curl pubic bone down. Inhale, lift your shoulders. Exhale, lower down. One more. Take a breath, rest your head on the mat, balloon the back ribs out. Exhale, press the low pelvis down. Keep pressing pelvis down. Inhale, chest up. Put your hands under your shoulders or in front of your shoulders. Pull the mat towards you. Inhale, back traction, low cobra. Exhale, lower down. We'll meet in lunge, left foot forward. And take the time to make padding under back knee. You know we're going to be here for a moment. If you don't have yoga blocks, use books, something underneath your hands so you can be on your hands, or you can frame your front foot. If you need to have both hands to the inside, that should be fine. Just watch out. If you're always doing that, it will start to create pathways in your hips. Make sure they stay beneficial. All right, adding our PNF, our propioneuromuscular facilitation. On inhale, spread your toes, press feet into mat, tuck tail. Like you're pushing the mat away, turning on all the muscles around your legs, around your thighs, around your calves, around your feet. Keep breathing. And then exhale, stop pressing. Two more like that. I'll let you go on your own, adding pressure and taking 2 or 3 breaths while you're turned on. And then letting go completely when you're ready. Half splits. Ease your hips back, tuck your toes. Either keep the hips high over the back knee or start to sit on the heel. Lengthen your spine out over the left leg. Inhale, bend left knee. Angle the left toes out. If knee says that's okay. Move your right hand off the edge of your mat. You can even rest down on your elbow there. Left hand to left inner thigh. Take your thigh bone and start to traction it out. Hips heavy. Breathe your rib cage away from your hips. Lower down onto your belly. Now quarter boat. Fold your hands, rest your head on your hands. Breathe the back lowest ribs up off your low back. Exhale, curl pubic bone down and start to lengthen right thigh back from your pelvis. The front of the thighs crawling out and maybe turning into the left a little bit, spiraling. If the foot lifts off, activate the foot. Knee is straight. Feel for not gripping with the buttocks. Almost like your own hand was tractioning your thigh bone out in a few of our poses. Do that here with your invisible hands. And then exhale, relax your right thigh down. Inhale, balloon back bottom ribs. Exhale, curl pubic bone to mat. Traction left thigh back. Maybe it rises. Hips stay heavy, right leg stays heavy. Left thigh bone is spiraling from the hip, making space. Exhale, lower down. Option full boat, arms down alongside body. Half boat is fine, leaving your hands and feet on the earth. Or hands and feet might rise, or you can interlace hands behind your back if you're craving that action. Inhale into back body. Exhale, curl pubic bone into mat. Lengthen tail towards heels. And inhale, lift up whatever you want to lift up. At least shoulders, maybe hands, maybe feet. I don't recommend lifting the head. Keep the chin slightly tucked. But maybe you turn your eyes forward. And notice how simply moving the eyes direction changes sensation. One more breath. Exhale, lower down. Fold your hands in front of you. Some of you rest here, separate your feet, roll your heels out. Some of you, it'll feel right to bend your knees and do a gentle windshield wipe action. Swish, swish. Half frog, belly down. Relax the legs. Bend right knee out to the side. Maybe your knee comes all the way up by your hip. Your foot is out where your knee is, but it might not come that high. Breathe as you do that. Otherwise, your hip flexors might cramp up. It might look more like a tree for you. That's fine. We won't be here too long, but enough time you can settle in. If the belly down doesn't work for you, of course you can roll onto your back and draw a knee to chest instead. And change sides. Move mindfully as you extend right leg back and draw left knee out towards left arm. Maybe it gets as wide as your hip. It doesn't have to. And extend the left leg back. Press back. Let's come right into pigeon. Small fours. Slide right knee up to your wrist. And extend left leg back. Basic pigeon variation. I do recommend propping your hip if your hips don't come straight down, or if this puts too much pressure on knee. Well, you can bend left knee out to the side so you can make more space for your knees. If that's still not great for your knees, roll onto your back. For figure four, maybe you have a wall or something you can put your left foot on so you don't even have to hold your leg there. And any expression. Some of you are flopping right into your pigeon. That's cool. Don't let me disturb you. Some of you want to stay up on your hands. Maybe you tuck your tail, press your feet down, supporting your bones. And you can experiment with that PNF type action, turning on and letting go. Elbows on blocks are a nice way to get the shoulders to decompress. Sometimes I flop all the way forward and I actually move the sensation out of my hips, so staying a little higher. So I'm down in my hips and my shoulders can relax. And kind of a life counter pose. If you're in deer pose, you can angle any direction over that front leg, whether you're all the way over by thigh, which turns out even my husband can access. And if he can do it, anyone can do that. Or if you want to explore other areas of the hip is almost like a circular shape, the muscles. So as you walk from knee to foot, you will go right around that pizza pie or the spokes of the hip. Breathe and feel. All right, find your way back onto your belly. Or counter pose of your choice if you want to do down dog hip opener. Cool. I was going to suggest heel to butt, which you can do lying on your belly, right heel to butt, or lie on your left side. If that's not the right pose for you, you can simply rest in a belly down shavasana with your hips flat on the earth. Technically, that is a hip flexor stretch. You don't have to strain your knees. We'll meet in our pigeon, left leg forward. Now, you know you'll be here for up to 2 minutes, so get comfy. If you decide wants you to lie on your back, you listen to it. I'll give you some quiet space to settle into what the side wants. This is allowed to be interactive, so if you need suggestions, let me know. If you're getting too fussy about the external shape, take a moment to pause, soften, send a slow breath down into your pelvis. Allow whatever's arising to arise. Listen to its cues. Feel what you feel. Maybe you choose to stay with feeling whatever you're feeling. Or you honor the quieter cues that tell you, maybe move a little, maybe adjust. All right, either find your way onto your belly for left heel to butt, quad stretch, or right side, lion side, or do your down dog hip opener if that's what you're feeling. Or take a belly down shavasana, stay in the quiet place. The subtle messages from the quiet place are so important. in the context of my physical practice as I get older. Getting stronger and getting hurt can often feel exactly the same. But there are subtle cues that tell me when I'm all right and what I should not tolerate. And the same comes up in life and in relationship. What do I accept? What do I need the courage to change? Make your way onto your seat. Half lotus or cross-legged seat. Option, eagle arms, right on top of left. Actually, you pick whichever one feels organic. Right now, the other day, right on top of left felt right. Today, left's on top of right. So I'll let you choose. Part one, bowing your head down to your arms, maybe even resting your head on your arms and folding into yourself. If you prefer to unwind the arms and simply come into a forward fold of your legs, do that. Either stay in your fold or option to keep your arms in eagle, pull your belly in to come out. Elbows and hands rise if shoulders are healthy. You might even rise onto your knees from cross-legged seat. At any point, use your hands to help you. Maybe come out the way you came in. Change the cross of your legs. And for some of us, that means cross-legged seat, forward fold, the whole pose. Powerful shape. If you're adding the eagle arms, hopefully you noted which arm you had on top because I probably confused you. Other arm on top, fold in. Folding, again, can always just be releasing the neck. Turning inward. Continue to turn inward or connect to your low belly. And let that pull you outward, maybe rising up into your eagle with your arms, hands rising, maybe even rising onto knees. Yes, hands can help. Exhale, everyone unwind from where you are and come onto your back to rest. If you'd like to set your rest up somewhat upside down with your legs up on something, it's not a bad idea. If you'd like to rest for longer than 3 minutes, maybe you turn off your Zoom so I don't disturb you. I wish I could pull Wilhelm right through the screen so you can have some rest. Oh, and for other reasons. Wilhelm, show me your lotus pose. You may still choose to rest where you are, or start to deepen your breath. And keep your focus centered on your breath. Let your body decide how you rise. Go slow. Practice. Those of you sitting, palms pressed, thumbs against sternum, lift your heart. Bow to your own heart. And from that place, we bow to each other. Namaste.